baseball team moving forward, rebranding amid a national reckoning in sports. And as the Olympics begin, we are there. I'm Nicole Burley. It is Friday, July 23rd. This is Rush Hour. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening in your nation now. The Delta variant running rampant in Alabama, the least vaccinated state in the entire country. The governor now pleading with people to roll up their sleeves. And Attorney General Merrick Garland working on a nationwide plan to contain gun violence, all while people run for cover during a shooting in the nation's capital. Plus, new video you have to see. A vicious attack in broad daylight on a New York sidewalk. 4 people beat up this 61-year-old woman with a walker. But we begin in Florida. Take a look at this footage. Crews spent the day scrambling to repair a giant video screen because it came crashing down just a day before the gates opened up at Rolling Loud Music Festival. Now, that's just the first of many major music festivals set to return this year. Of course, since the pandemic canceled everything in 2020. Lollapalooza set to start next week in Chicago. Other events from Tennessee to Wisconsin, New York, Texas, Vegas all have fans excited for the months ahead. But will COVID still be a concern? NewsNation's Brian Enton live tonight in Miami at Rolling Loud.
Nicole, the crowds are wild out here. So many people telling us they've been cooped up for a year and they are ready to get out and party. Look at all of these people. It's a constant stream of people rolling in to the festival here that's set to start in just a couple of hours. You've got Rolling Loud here in Miami, the biggest hip-hop concert in the world. And then there's Lollapalooza next weekend in Chicago. There is a Dave Matthews concert tonight that is totally sold out in North Carolina. Everyone we've talked to here said they're vaccinated and they're just ready to have a good time.
I'm from Chicago. She's from Seattle.
Are you excited?
I'm very excited.
Are you worried at all about COVID?
No, I'm vaccinated.
What about you?
Vaccinated.
I mean, like, we're both vaccinated and stuff, so I mean, like, we're not too worried about it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Jersey.
Are you excited?
I'm excited, yes.
Are you worried about COVID at all?
No, I got my shot.
So you're good to go?
I'm good to go.
Is this your first big concert?
It is, yes.
Since COVID, yeah?
Yeah. Rolling Loud!
And here at Rolling Loud, they are not requiring COVID testing. They're not requiring proof of vaccine. But at Lollapalooza next week in Chicago, they say they will require documentation for people to get inside. Nicole?
Yeah, we know less people would have fun, but of course, hopefully they will stay safe. All right, Brian, thank you. We are watching more headlines tonight out of New York and Washington, D.C., but let's start with the latest on the pandemic. COVID cases climbing in several hotspots. Janelle Ford live for us tonight in Alabama. It's actually the state with the lowest vaccination rate in the entire country. So, Janelle, Alabama's governor is now getting involved.
Yeah, Nicole, she is. Vaccine confidence is extremely low here. As you said, Alabama ranks dead last in vaccination rates in the country. Only about a third of the population is fully vaccinated. And with the Delta variant rapidly spreading, this is a state that's seeing this big surge in cases. And in turn, hospitals are filling back up. The situation is getting so dire that in a surprise move, the state's Republican governor took a shot at people who haven't yet rolled up their sleeves.
But it's time to start blaming the unvaccinated folks, not the regular folks. It's the unvaccinated folks that are letting us down.
Now, public health officials here say the biggest challenge to getting people vaccinated is that so much of the messaging surrounding COVID-19 has been politicized here. This is a red state across the board, and many doctors and public health officials say they've been getting threats for asking people to wear masks and to get vaccinated. Are you worried?
Yes, I'm worried. Part of that's my job to be worried. And I'm worried for a couple of reasons. I mean, one is people are going to die. And it's just really tragic that people are going to die that didn't have to die because they didn't get vaccinated.
Now, Nicole, I want to end with some stats. COVID cases here in Alabama are up 311%. According to the CDC, over the past week, nearly 7,000 new cases. Hospitalizations also up 709 in the past week. And Nicole, we're also seeing children being hospitalized currently in the state. 22 kids hospitalized with COVID-19.
Yeah, with those cases, an increase of 311%. That is so many cases. All right. Janelle, thank you. All right, now to the Biden administration. They're working to stop the shootings happening all across the country. Joe Khalil live tonight in D.C. Joe, the White House rolling out these nationwide efforts, though, but there was a flare-up of gun violence literally in the president's backyard.
Yeah, there was. A lot of people asking, why won't the federal government step in? Well, here it is. But you're right, Nicole, and I want to give you an idea. This is the 14th Street corridor here, only about a mile from the White House. As you can see, it's a bustling area, but last night became the latest example of a scene with gun violence here in the nation's capital. In the same week, mind you, that a baseball game had to be shut down because fans there were sent scrambling for a shooting. Now, this is not unique to Washington, D.C. Cities all across the country are facing increases in gun violence and in murder rates, from Los Angeles all the way to New York. So the Department of Justice is stepping in, creating what it's called strike forces, trying to stop the illegal flow of guns coming into cities that they say are fueling some of these acts. They're hoping that works. But I want you to listen to Robert Conte. He's the chief of police here in Washington, D.C. He says the justice system itself is coddling violent criminals. Here's what he said.
I've been here all my life. I grew up over in Carpenters. Everybody over there know who I am. I know who they are, the good, the bad, and otherwise. And the one thing that I know about this city is if you don't hold people accountable for the things that they do, people will continue to engage in bad behavior. We're not holding people accountable.
So it's a different perspective there, Nicole. One more thing about the Justice Department's plans. They say it's just one part of a larger strategy. They're also going to be doing community intervention for violence and cracking down on what they call rogue gun sellers. Nicole?
Yeah, Joe, outside of the Capitol tonight for us, out on the street. Thank you. As U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan continues, the Taliban racing to claim the territory now left unguarded. This was the situation in April. Okay, the red represents the Taliban, gray is the Afghan government, orange is contested area. You can see here a few areas of Taliban control, lots and lots of contested territory there. But let's fast forward to today. You can see just how much more red. Look at all of that on the map there. The Taliban controls half of all districts. That's according to the U.S. Army's top general. But the U.S., of course, not completely out of the picture yet. Let's bring in Allison Harris live in D.C. tonight. Allison, how long until U.S. troops are out of Afghanistan entirely?
Well, Nicole, the Secretary of Defense, speaking from the Pentagon this week, confirmed that the drawdown of U.S. troops in Afghanistan is on track. It will be completed by the end of August, before the 20th anniversary of September 11th. And as this is happening, the U.S. says it is not abandoning Afghan forces. The U.S. launching airstrikes against the Taliban in support of Afghan forces. We don't know much about those airstrikes, only that some are in the province of Kandahar and that some of them are being targeted against some of the materials the Taliban has, like artillery and military vehicles, some of the things that the Taliban has stolen from Afghan forces. At the same time, the U.S. military and the U.S. government is working to help protect those Afghan interpreters and Afghan nationals who have helped the U.S. in the nearly 2 decades that America has been in Afghanistan, helping them by processing their visas and trying to get them to the U.S. soon. This, as there's news that an Afghan interpreter has reportedly been beheaded by the Taliban.
You've seen that we'll be hosting the first group of Afghans on Fort Lee in Virginia. We expect them to arrive soon and most likely will stay there only for a short while as they complete their parolee paperwork.
Now, the president and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs have both said repeatedly that the Afghan forces have the capability to defend their country. Nicole?
All right, Allison, thank you. Well, right now, it's a story we have been covering all week. Still a flash flood threat in Colorado as more rain moves in this weekend. Flash floods have already turned deadly to the north of Fort Collins. News Nation's Vicente Arenas from our station in Denver joining us again tonight. Vicente, experts also warning now of the potential for landslides.
That is a real threat, and we've seen that happen. Mudslides, we see this debris coming down the mountains. What's happening, Nicole, is that anytime we have these flash floods that come through here, we have these monsoon storms, the moisture that comes through, it hits the mountain, we have those burn scars, and the water just comes down the mountain. And that is exactly what happened behind me here earlier this week, where we now know that 6 structures were lost. This afternoon, 3 people are still missing, and because of this weather that has been moving through the area, they had to suspend the search for those 3 people. The river is still running fast here. As we toured the canyon this afternoon, we saw several crews that were trying to clean up the area, just a pile of debris where these homes were washed away. The highway open. The people in the mountains here very challenged because the tourists that usually come through here have slowed down quite significantly. They're wanting for people to come back to the mountains. But as you mentioned, Nicole, those warnings have gone out again, and it is a real problem for people here in the West, especially the mountains where last summer we had those big wildfires. Now it's those landslides, those mudslides, and the flash floods that we are worried about this afternoon. Reporting live from Larimer County, Vicente Arenas for News Nation. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Vicente, thank you for checking in with us again. Well, the flooding threat not isolated to Colorado. Over in Arizona, a river there overflowed today after several inches of rain. Take a look at that. Albert Ramon in the Weather Center tonight. So, Albert, lots of people in many areas hoping that this water will subside.
Yeah, it's going to be a long weekend with these flash flood concerns in the desert Southwest. You heard it from Vicente. It is monsoonal moisture, and an added ingredient is a spin in the atmosphere, an upper level area of low pressure. So notice the amount of states in the Southwest under a flash flood watch, some of these lasting through the weekend, much of the state of Arizona into New Mexico and into Colorado, at least through tonight, portions of Nevada as well as Utah included. Some of the heaviest rain right now occurring in the Phoenix area. I've turned on the live Doppler radar loop from the Phoenix area, where we do have active flash flood warnings in effect just north of Phoenix. Earlier this morning, reports of multiple flooded roadways north of Phoenix, and notice up towards the northern portion of the screen near Flagstaff. That's a heavy band of rainfall that's sliding down towards the south, and that will be moving into the Phoenix area a little bit later on tonight. So let's plan this out with you with our data, and we are indicating that we will have an increase in shower and thunderstorms as the evening goes on with this upper level low. Things wind down a bit tonight into tomorrow morning, flares up again tomorrow afternoon, and again on Sunday afternoon. So it is a wet weekend, and the flash flood concern pretty high through the weekend, and some of the heaviest rainfall will be focused in and around the Phoenix area. Some of the data we're getting tonight, now through Monday morning, some areas may exceed 3 inches of rainfall. What about where the fires are burning? Up in Northern California, south central areas of Oregon, a little bit of moisture Monday and Tuesday of next week, but these fires continue to explode. Look at all the smoke right now with the Dixie Fire, not far from Paradise, has grown by over 40,000 acres in just 24 hours, Nicole.
Just thinking about that horrible drought in some places and then all that water in others. Okay, Albert, thank you. Let's give you a live look now. The skyline in Cleveland, Ohio tonight. Now take a look. On the far left side of your screen is Progressive Field, home of the team now known as the Cleveland Guardians. News Nation's Kevin Freeman from our Cleveland station WJW outside the ballpark right now. So Kevin, we have a new name. What is the fan reaction from those Cleveland baseball fans?
Well, Nicole, there is mixed reaction tonight as we get ready to play a game here tonight against Tampa Bay. You know, Cleveland is a huge sports town, very connected to its teams, to its traditions, to its team names. Now, some fans say that it was time for a change, but for other fans, especially if you look on social media, talk to people in the community, this change to the Guardians will be pretty difficult to embrace. Now, the Indians actually today used the voice of actor Tom Hanks to narrate the announcement video that they released. Now, the Dolans, the owners of the Indians, announced in December that they would indeed change the name, but there have been calls to change this name for decades. At every home opener, Native American groups would protest the name, and the logo, Chief Wahoo, which was indeed retired in 2018. Now, the team says there were 1,200 potential names after speaking to fans, community groups, even some of the people in the front office. The name Guardians actually relates to the Guardians of the Traffic. Those are some statues on an iconic bridge right across from Progressive Field where the team plays. Indians owner Paul Dolan said today that he wanted the name to be respectful, respect the city, honor its history, and unite the community. Now, the team will keep the same team colors. The script will be similar. It will also keep its mascot. The mascot is Slider. Now, they will officially remain the Cleveland Indians through the end of this season, but then after this season, they will then officially be called the Cleveland Guardians. Live in Cleveland, I'm Kevin Freeman. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, Kevin, before we let you go, I know you mentioned that there were some other options. Now, of course, you're never going to make everyone happy, but can you talk to us about maybe what some of those other options were? We heard something about spiders.
Spiders was one option that people had suggested, but after I talked to our sister station, I asked one of the representatives for the team, and they said they're not releasing any of the runner-up names. So they're not telling us what came in second, third, or fourth. So we won't know exactly what other names they were considering.
All right, you know what? That's fair, Kevin. Guardians it is. All right, Kevin, thank you.
Guardians it is.
Turning to the Olympics now, Tokyo 2020 opening ceremony in the books. And despite a more subdued feel due to COVID restrictions, there were still plenty elements of pageantry. News Nation's Jack Doles is in Tokyo tonight. So, Jack, take us there. What are you hearing now that the opening ceremony is over?
This took a very somber tone, which matched the moment that we're all in across the world. You still learned about the culture, you still learned about the tradition of Japan, and you certainly saw the innovation of this country. The drone globe was just incredible. But you also, the theme of this Olympics is united through emotion. And Thomas Bach, the president of the IOC, when he spoke to an empty stadium, that was the most unusual part there. He said the pandemic forced us to keep apart. Today, wherever in the world you are, we are united in sharing this moment together. So they touched on all of the right notes during this opening ceremony, and now the games begin.
Tomorrow's the first full day of games, which, of course, is today for you. So what's an event we should be looking for?
Well, the first medals will be handed out. You'll see medals in archery, which the U.S. has a very good chance at medaling in, cycling, men's road race. You're also going to have diving, fencing, judo, shooting, and I believe in Rio, the first medal won by the U.S. was an American woman in shooting, and then taekwondo and weightlifting. So, yeah, we get going here. The U.S. softball team also has a big game today out here as they continue in their journey to try and get that gold medal back in our hands.
That's right. We've got to get it back. All right, News Nation will continue checking in with you each and every day. Thank you again, Jack. All right, that is the big picture from Tokyo. Now to News Nation's very patriotically attired Aaron Nolan with a closer look at what happened inside the opening ceremony and outside the stadium.
Yeah, a lot of things happening, Nicole. The 2020 Olympics in Tokyo officially open for play. As Jack said this morning, the unique opening ceremony held in front of only about 1,000 delegates and dignitaries as a small percentage of the nearly 11,000 athletes walked into Tokyo Stadium.
Happy birthday!
And without the normal fanfare, Team USA decided to have some fun of their own. NBA star JaVale McGee told his fellow Olympians it was Kevin Durant's birthday, so the team sang to him. You just heard that. It was, in fact, not Kevin Durant's birthday, but a great laugh the team needed, and the story was a huge hit on Instagram. And more Team USA fun, this time from outside the official opening ceremony.
United States of America.
Several of the 600 American athletes were not among those walking into the ceremony, including the soccer team and the gymnastics team. Both held their own unofficial ceremonies. But as is the norm at the Olympics, there were protests outside the stadium, many demonstrating the Olympics being held amidst a COVID crisis in Japan. But now that the ceremony is complete, all eyes will turn to full days of competition. But, Nicole, I do want to point out today was a long day in Tokyo for athletes. I talked with one Olympian who said she was not expecting to be back at her hotel until 3 a.m. local time.
Ooh, yeah, very long day. All right, well, before we let you go, Aaron, we need to explain. Please explain this outfit. I'm seeing the red, white, and blue.
Well, this actually happens to be the opening ceremony T-shirt the team was wearing. I made a call this morning, Nicole, and I think I got the last one in my size.
All right, but no, there's something else here. We got to show those socks.
Oh, the socks.
We're not going to let you go without that. Look
the socks have USA all along the heel. I'm an Olympic guy, and I love the Olympics, and so I'm not afraid to go shopping on a Friday just to make sure I'm donned out in red, white, and blue.
You know what? We appreciate the sacrifices that you make
all
for all of us.
Nicole.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah.
Well, coming up on Rush Hour video you have to see. This is a brutal attack. It happened on a New York sidewalk in broad daylight, and those 4 attackers are still on the run. And later, danger at the front door. A stranger rings the doorbell. Surveillance footage captures his chilling message to the woman home alone inside. Let's get to that shocking video. Look at this. A woman using a walker brutally attacked in New York City. NewsNation's Tom Negevin has the video and the details. Tom, live tonight in Manhattan. This is horrible.
It is horrible, Nicole. It's very tough to watch, very difficult to see, but police are hopeful that by watching it, by showing it, they'll bring in the people responsible for this. So this is Harlem Tuesday night around 151st Street. If you're familiar with the area, the NYPD Crime Stoppers releasing the video just in the last 24 hours or so. The woman not badly injured, but that's not the point. Take a look at the attack here. She uses a walker to get around, 61 years of age, gets in a verbal confrontation with 4 people on the street, turns physical, punches are thrown. She's thrown into some scaffolding there on the street. Then the stealing begins. They take her purse, rifle around in there, get her credit cards, and $22. When that's not enough, they take her walker. They steal her walker that she uses to get around with. At some point in this melee, and just another bizarre facet of it, Nicole, a metal kitchen pan comes out. No idea where that came from. Police have not said if they know. And the woman is struck about the head and body with this metal pan as part of this assault. She's transported directly from that scene to New York Hospital in Harlem. She was treated there in stable condition and has since, we understand, been released and left to recover. Police, though, still seeking the 4 people involved in that and possibly a 5th person. You see an individual in the video with flip-flops, white T-shirt, red shorts, seems to be covering his mouth and laughing as this whole thing goes down, not intervening, that's for sure, not helping the woman. Police, again, looking for some help. Bringing justice to this situation, Nicole. A lot of people here in New York absolutely stunned by what they've seen on that video.
Well, Tom, before we let you go, I mean, you are in Manhattan right now, broad daylight, lots of people walking behind you. This happened in broad daylight. Nobody stepped in to help.
Very New York, unfortunately, robberies up 16% right now. Looking at the crime stats, a lot of people concerned about the crime in New York at this moment, and that is to the point as well. The NYPD looking for some help bringing those numbers down.
All right, Tom Negevin, thank you. Well, coming up, brand new details in the deadly double murder case involving a prominent South Carolina family. New 911 audio revealing the chilling moments a father found his wife and son shot to death. Plus, a new twist today in the sexual assault allegations surrounding MLB star TREVOR BAUER. What happened when the Cy Young winner appeared in court today? Thanks for joining us. To the bottom of the hour, here's what's happening in your nation now. LA Dodgers star pitcher TREVOR BAUER in a California courtroom today as a judge weighs whether to extend a restraining order against him amid sexual assault accusations. Then a little bit east in Las Vegas, a homeowner's worst nightmare unfolding before her eyes. A stranger on the doorstep making violent threats, all of it caught on surveillance camera. But let's start in South Carolina, where tonight we have new details in the double murder involving a prominent legal family. We're now hearing the frantic 911 calls made by Alex MURDAUGH after he found his wife and son shot to death inside their home. NewsNation's REDACTED Shabazi is here. REDACTED, are we learning anything new from this audio?
Nicole, in these newly released calls, you hear a distraught Alex MURDAUGH pleading for help to 911 dispatchers.
This is Alex MURDAUGH. I need the police to answer immediately. My wife and child shot badly.
MURDAUGH's 52-year-old wife, Maggie, and their 22-year-old son, Paul, shot to death on the family's property 6 weeks ago. The MURDAUGHs, as you mentioned, are a prominent legal family in South Carolina. Alex's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all served as elected solicitors. Investigators have not named a suspect in the shooting. At the time of the murders, Paul MURDAUGH was awaiting trial on a charge of boating under the influence, causing death in a 2019 crash that killed 19-year-old Mallory Beach. Whether local law enforcement enforcement agencies tried to obstruct the investigation into that boating death is also being reviewed by state officials. Nurses said Alex Murdaugh and his former prosecutor father came to the emergency room and tried to talk to everyone on the boat. Two nurses, Nicole, said Murdaugh was closely looking at a board staff uses to track patients, and one nurse says she told Alex Murdaugh to stay in his son's room or leave the hospital and told a security guard to keep an eye on him. Investigators didn't find out if Paul Murdaugh was driving the boat until weeks later.
All right, so there was that boating death, but this family was actually implicated in separate death investigations, plural, before this.
Yes, it is a tangled web. 19-year-old Stephen Smith was found dead on a roadway in 2015. An original report said it was a hit and run, but the Murdaugh's name came up repeatedly in the hours of interviews, photos, and documents included in the Highway Patrol's years-long investigation. One person told detectives Buster Murdaugh, the son and brother of the two Murdaughs who were shot dead in June, killed Smith because of his sexual orientation. State police are now taking another look at that. And we also know Alex Murdaugh settled a wrongful death claim in December of 2018. Family members for a 57-year-old woman who worked at the family's house as a housekeeper sued after she allegedly tripped, fell, and died. Court documents didn't mention where she fell or why the Murdaughs were at fault in her death. His insurance provider has paid more than $500,000 in that settlement. Nicole?
All right, so many facets to that. Okay, Rudy, thank you. Dodgers star pitcher away from the dugout, back in the courtroom today. TREVOR BAUER facing allegations of sexual assault, asking for a restraining order, though, to be lifted. Nancy Liu live tonight in L.A., where BAUER just left court. Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And what happened is basically a continuance, pushing things into next month. The Dodgers, meantime, they happen to be at home tonight taking on the Rockies. Their highest paid player, though, spent most of the day here at LA Superior Court. Pitcher TREVOR BAUER, he dodged the media heading in here, but he was in court for over 5 hours, out of uniform and in a maroon-colored suit. He is contesting that restraining order granted to a San Diego woman who claims BAUER assaulted her. She was also in court, and I can tell you the two worked hard to avoid eye contact. In court documents, the 29-year-old accuser outlines two sexual encounters in April and May. BAUER allegedly beat her up, choked her into unconsciousness, and performed sex acts that she did not consent to. Now, BAUER's reps have argued it was consensual, and due to both sides calling witnesses, the judge is allowing more preparation time, pushing the hearing to August 2nd, 3rd, and the 19th. For now, the temporary restraining order will remain in place, and BAUER will remain on administrative leave, which is paid until July 27th. This as Pasadena Police and MLB continue their investigations. You may recall the Dodgers had signed the Cy Young winner to a 3-year, $102 million contract just a few months ago. Nicole, he is the game's highest paid player.
Wow. Okay, Nancy, so the hearing scheduled now for next month. Is BAUER expected to testify?
Yeah, the judge indicated that he will have to take the stand in this hearing, even if it's just to invoke the Fifth. And that is expected since he may also face a criminal trial. Nicole?
All right, Nancy Liu live tonight. Thank you. Well, a woman and her horse are okay after falling down a steep embankment. This is near San Diego. And News Nation's Phil Blauer from our station KSWB joining us now. Phil, this was an impressive rescue.
It really was very dramatic right from the get-go, Nicole. And let's take a look at this video that we have here. The horse being lifted out of this ravine by a fire department helicopter. It had blinders on there so it wouldn't stress out, so it couldn't see what was going on. And then moments after it gets set down on a nearby trail, this horse had been sedated. It wakes up and tries to bolt away from rescue teams. Fortunately, they were able to catch up to it, and they were able to lead that horse to a nearby trailer. That horse was then driven home. And tonight, the horse and the female rider, who was elderly, are actually doing okay. Neither one of them was hurt during this entire thing, Nicole. It really was miraculous going down this embankment about 50 feet into some brush there. Thankfully, somebody got the call. They got the crews there in time, and they're all A-okay today.
All right, Phil, you were not kidding when you said that was some dramatic video. Wow, and just so glad that, you know, the rider and the horse, they're both okay. All right, Phil, thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Let's head on rush hour. A stranger at the front door threatening the woman home alone inside. We have a closer look at this absolutely terrifying footage. Plus, as Americans return to the skies, a backlog at the State Department may keep you from traveling. We'll tell you what's behind the passport delay. Well, this next story shows the power of social media. A Las Vegas woman posted doorbell footage on social media, hoping someone would recognize this man. He was caught on video. What he's doing there, threatening to rape and kill her. Let's go to News Nation's David Charnes from our Las Vegas station, KLS, with what we know.
Certainly a scary moment, all caught on camera, happening just a couple blocks away from the Las Vegas Strip. The video provided to us by the woman who was behind that door shows this man approaching that home. This all then quickly escalates to threatening the woman inside.
I want to rape her and kill her because I have a knife.
The whole thing lasting about 2 minutes. Now, we talked to a neighbor who says she actually wasn't surprised to see this all happening. She said the same man went to her door just a couple of months ago.
He got loud and belligerent and he started screaming, and because my peephole is pretty large, you know, that you could see spit coming out of his mouth, and so I slammed it and I'm screaming through the door, get away from my house.
She says this isn't the first time something like this has happened in this neighborhood. She hopes it will prompt a renewed focus on homelessness and mental health. We do know police took that man into custody, but right now police are not releasing his name. Back to you, Nicole.
All right, David, thank you. Well, some pretty big entertainment headlines to talk about today, starting with a new twist in the ongoing Brangelina divorce case. Why the judge overseeing that case was disqualified. And a long-awaited Kanye West album finally released, but some people having trouble finding it. We have all that and more next in Entertainment Nation. Right now, there is an increased demand for passports on both applications and renewals, which is causing a massive backlog, meaning wait times of months in some cases. News Nation's Marky Martin is live in Dallas tonight. So, Marky, we're saying this even means delays for people who actually paid for expedited service.
Oh, absolutely. And there's millions of people that have the wait time. People are waiting 4 to 5 months to get their passport. That kind of wait time isn't just ruining vacations, Nicole. This is keeping loved ones apart. And the problem has now caught the attention of scammers and Congress.
I can't help.
All across the country, long lines of frustrated wannabe travelers who are simply going nowhere.
I waited in line 7 hours yesterday in Connecticut, and today we have been here since 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's just been a really long waiting game. They're giving us no hope. With many countries closed to foreigners, very few people even thought about their passports during the first year of the pandemic. Now, more than 2 million applications wait to be processed as countries open back up. And it's not just vacations, but people trying to visit loved ones who are sick and dying.
What we need to do is visit our family that's, is ill in the Dominican Republic. But, there's not much help right now at the moment.
We call him anytime. I want to try to bring my daughter to her grandma.
As the problem got worse, scammers stepped in, using automated bots to schedule large blocks of appointments and then sell them on the open market for thousands of dollars. On Wednesday, the State Department shutting down its online application system because of it.
The State Department's dropping the ball.
Congressman Tim Burchett says right now his office is getting 5 times the normal number of requests for help with passports. He says send your passport in up to a year early.
As soon as you know you're going to travel, or if you even think you're going to travel, go on and get it in, because we've had some incredibly long delays.
And the State Department saying they are not issuing out refunds if you've missed your trip. The only refund they are giving out is if you paid that $60 expedited fee and your passport did not come in on time. Nicole.
Ouch. Sending it out, I mean, even a year in advance. All right, Marky, so I thought of something. The State Department is not issuing refunds. Let's say you miss your trip. Now, what about, your airline? Are you just out of luck with them as well?
Yeah, that's something that you would have to check with your individual airline on. But, 2 million people in the pipeline to get their passports issued. There are a lot of people who need to check with their travel agents, the airlines, to figure out what the deal is before their trip comes up, even if it's months away. Nicole.
All right. Marky Martin, thank you. Well, happening now in Entertainment Nation, another step forward in the divorce of one of Hollywood's hottest couples, or what used to be. News Nation's Carly Henderson from our Los Angeles station, KTLA, is joining us live. So, Carly, is it even fair for me to ask if things are amicable between them?
You know what? This has been the longest divorce in history. At least it feels like it. I feel like anyone who pays attention to pop culture is just cannot believe how long this is lasting. And it just hit another roadblock. So Brad and Angelina hired a private judge to handle this case. And you might be scratching your head saying, private judge? I didn't know you could have that. This is something celebrities do to kind of maintain their privacy. And it turns out that that judge was just dismissed because he does not disclose a business relationship with Brad Pitt's attorneys. So it's a win for Angelina, but they've been technically divorced since 2019. They just had to kind of settle some things like their finances and custody battles with their 5 minor children. And at this rate, I feel like these children could be 18 by the time this divorce is finished.
Yeah, finances and custody. I don't think that should take very long. All right, let's switch gears now. 22-time Grammy-winning artist Kanye West unveiling a new album today, and Jay-Z is on this as well.
Yes, he is. Everyone was so excited to hear the surprise Jay-Z track at the listening party last night in Atlanta. And party is really an understatement. This went down at a stadium. And so the Jay-Z track was a total surprise. Everyone's really excited to hear that from him. And also a surprise was Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, and Kim's 4 kids showing up to this. So talk about co-parenting goals. They are here to support each other. We know Kanye is still helping Kim. He helped her rename her KKW beauty line. And so it's pretty exciting to see them show up for each other. And you know what? Family is forever. No matter what happens in the relationship, family is forever.
Absolutely. Maybe you can give Brangelina some advice. All right. LeBron James also having a good week. He's now the first NBA player to be a billionaire while still playing basketball.
Yes, he is the first active NBA player to become a billionaire. You said it. So exciting for him. There's been about 6 other athletes who have reached this billionaire status. One of them is Tiger Woods. And it has been so good for LeBron James. He's the first one to do it as an active athlete. And about 1/3 of that comes from his salary. The other 2/3 is coming from his endorsements. He works with everyone from Blaze Pizza to Walmart. So great day for LeBron. We applaud you. This is very exciting for everyone who's a fan of basketball and for him. And you know what? He's also having a great week because Space Jam. He was in that reboot. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. Well, congrats to King James. All right, Carly, so great talking to you. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank you, Nicole.
All right, well, the Donlin Report starts at the top of the hour. Let's talk to Joe now, who is in the studio. Joe, tell us what's coming up.
Hi, Nicole. Tonight on the Donlin Report, he takes you inside the final moments of the Trump administration. Live tonight, the author of Frankly, We Did Win This Election, Michael Bender, talks about how Trump lost. Plus, held hostage in Russia, the parents of the detained ex-Marine TREVOR Reed joins us. Their fight for answers as their son's fate hangs in the balance. The Cleveland Indians out, the Cleveland Guardians in. The name change heard around the baseball world and the country today. And who may be next? We'll see you with that and more at the top of the hour. Nicole, it's almost your weekend.
It almost is the weekend. All right, thank you, Joe. Well, more top stories from around your nation after the break, including the first NFL coach to say the new vaccine policy is a deal breaker. Could more coaches and players follow suit? We continue tonight live from our News Nation headquarters here in Chicago. Here are some other top stories we're watching right now. COVID cases continue increasing in several hotspots, including Alabama, the state with the lowest vaccination rate in the U.S. Only a third of the state's population is fully vaccinated, and Governor Kay Ivey says it's time to start blaming the unvaccinated. Public health officials say the vaccine message has become politicized in the state. In response to a rise in gun violence across the nation, Attorney General Merrick Garland vowing the Justice Department will crack down on gun trafficking. Strike forces to confront the issue will launch in Chicago, New York, Washington, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. The idea is to track down illegal guns trafficked into those cities that often end up being used in violent crimes. And we're tracking dozens of wildfires across the West. Firefighters on the front lines in Oregon now have the bootleg fire 40% contained. It's destroyed an area about half the size of Rhode Island already. In Montana, 5 firefighters hurt battling a fire caused by lightning. In California, the Tarmac fire has grown to 91 square miles in Alpine County. Mandatory evacuations now in effect in Butte County, where the Dixie Fire is also growing. A close ally of former President Donald Trump has been ordered free on $250 million bail. Tom Barrack chaired Trump's inaugural committee. He's accused of secretly working as an agent for the United Arab Emirates to influence the former president's foreign policy. Barrack is expected to plead not guilty. And the Minnesota Vikings say they are still in talks with assistant coach Rick Dennison after an earlier ESPN report claimed he'd been removed from the team over his refusal to get the COVID vaccine. It is required for all coaches, except in cases of religious or medical exemptions. This week, the league unveiled new penalties for teams that do not meet vaccination goals, including the possibility of forfeiting games. That is all for Rush Hour tonight. A reminder, you can follow me on social media. Just search Nicole Burley, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And next up, the Donlin Report. Then later tonight, On Balance with Leland Vittert, News Nation Prime, and finally, Banfield. And you can check the headlines anytime at newsnationnow.com. Have a great Friday and a fabulous weekend.